I'm Preeti Reddy, and I'm Chairwoman of Kanta Insight South Asia.
It's such a pleasure to have you with us and to give us such key insights that we really need. So, beginning with my first question, can you tell us something about the role of brands today and companies and the urgency to act? Giving some examples of what brands are doing right in the way the power of telling their stories.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question, Anupama. And in fact, uh, I'm going to just step back a little and say that in branding and brand and marketing, we know that strong brands are those that drive repeat purchase and actually can charge a premium. I mean, that's a very fundamental definition of a strong brand. And strong, and as per the frameworks that we use, Kanta uses a framework called for branding. We know that this happens when a brand is meaningful or relevant for the consumer, and it is differentiated. Of course, you must know about the brand. I mean, it must be a salient brand, but it must be meaningful and it must be differentiated, setting trends in that sense. So, and that's an age-old understanding of branding. What has happened in the last several years, especially post the pandemic, which has had a huge influence on how consumers act and behave and what they think about brands, is that today's consumers are embracing a more holistic view of meaningful value, and so there are functional benefits, price still matters, etc. But increasingly, brands also must address higher order needs, things like reassurance, safety, connection, and hope for the future. So, and in this digital world, and as I keep saying, the pandemic, consumers feel that they're being bombarded with the world's problems, and they want to feel like they're part of the solution. And that is the essence of what is meaning today and what we are calling meaningful purpose. So that's that urgency has to of brands and companies to act with purpose. And because the last 2 years have actually given us unprecedented challenges across the world, not just India. But because of this difficult period, it's also pushed people to reflect more deeply on what truly matters in life at at the micro level and at a more macro level. And purpose is more relevant than ever. And uh, and purpose will continue to be more relevant. And now also consumers are more aware of picture issues. They are more concerned about sustainability, about the environment. We've just done a study on global issues, and climate change has come up as an important issue. Traditionally we believe that Indians don't care about the environment or climate change. That's no longer true. So consumers expect now brands to provide practical solutions to them in terms of nutrition, hygiene, saving time, convenience, all of that. And consumers have also realized that uh, the collective action is the only surefire way to address all the threats that we are facing. So that's why Indian consumers are saying that in the coming years they expect Indian businesses to remain involved with India's greatest national challenges. And that's the urgency that brands face in terms of purpose, etc. We do a study every year called Brand Z. You may have heard of it. And this year we looked at which are the brands which are leading on purpose, who are most purposeful brands. And I forget the math. I'm not going to go into the mathematics of it, but the most purposeful FMCG brand was Tata Tea, and the most purposeful non-FMCG brand was Asian Paints, and the most purposeful technology brand was Amazon. Okay, and then you can understand the reasons why they are seen as purposeful. Tata Tea has been has been talking about social consciousness, etc., for a very long time. Uh, the non-FMCG brands are actually promoting strategies that promote the brand beyond function or service, and beyond meeting just immediate needs. And FMCG brands are talking about reducing carbon footprint, saving water, protecting the girl child and all of that. So that is being played back, and that is being reflected now in terms of purpose-led branding. I
That's
hope that
interesting.
answers your question.
Yes, absolutely. I think you've given a gamut of things for us
Mm,
to think about.
mm.
And maybe you could just highlight a few things about how brands bring in inclusion and why is
Okay.
it so urgent and important in today's evolving culture? And
Right.
if there's an importance of a social charter for organizations.
See, the it's important because an unequal world is a very cruel world, and that's the moral reason. Okay, but it's also important because an inclusive, equal world also makes better business sense. We know that. I mean, there is enough evidence that companies with a diverse workforce uh, have access to diverse perspectives and therefore actually perform better. And economic inclusion just makes for a much larger market. So, I mean, if you're in the business of growth, which is what all businesses are in, then the larger your market, the better it is for you. And so it's equality is good for business. It's also very good for the soul. We know that, and that's why it's important. And also now your consumers and your employees are also demanding it. They're saying that they will make choices on the basis of this, which company to work for, which brand to buy. They're now making choices on the basis of what they think the company or the brand stands for in terms of diversity. So their companies are doing a great deal actually to make their workplace and their culture more inclusive. For instance, in Kanta, and many companies are doing this. We've set up these employee resource groups. So we have an employee resource group for women at Kanta, another one for Pride at Kanta, for the LGBTQI, for inclusion at Kanta, for the disabled, or for other marginalized communities. And then we have wellness at Kanta, we have sustainability at Kanta. So and then we also have a CSR program which funds, basically the thematic focus is uh, equipping women for life, because we feel that they are the largest, in a sense, vulnerable and marginalized community, and they will make the most significant difference if we uplift them. So it's not only us, all companies, many companies are doing this, and they're seeing the benefits of it. And we're a remarkably diverse country, and uh, so it just makes more sense to have a diverse company and diverse brands. And that's why it's an important part of corporate culture. The evidence is quite clear. The more diverse you are, the more better you're likely to perform. Yeah.
Right. It's interesting that you touched upon a little bit of employee and workplace
Yeah.
culture. Can you tell what are the top three elements required for a great workplace culture?
Yeah, that's actually another interesting question. And my firm belief really is that there's actually only one uh, there's actually only one thing that you need to do, and everything follows from that. And that one thing is that you have to recognize the power of the human potential that you have. All of us, I mean, we are all work in companies where they're not run by robots, right? They're run by people. And especially in the service business, the people are even more important. So empowering your workforce to deliver business outcomes is actually the key element. Everything else follows from that. So you have to build a workplace culture that empowers your people and makes them want to give their absolute best. So that's a good work culture, is where employees are actually encouraged, continuously are encouraged to work as a team, have each other's back, bring the best outcomes in every project. And it includes elements of community, of caring, of trust, transparency, fairness, all of that, whether it's management or whether it is trust with each other. Compensation is a very important part. I mean, fairness in compensation is a very important part uh, of of a good work culture, and of course, innovation. Because the thing is that employees have to choose you, and they will only choose you if you choose them. And that if they feel that they're important to you. So today, all of that also includes diversity and inclusion, and concern for the environment as a work culture.